Back inside the Now Morning Show. Of course, they told you guys that this morning we're going to be continuing the conversation on Cataract Awareness Month. And this morning, I want to welcome Dr. Deborah Bartholomew, who's a doctor at CVRS and Trinidad Eye Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Bartholomew.
Good morning. Good morning, Ruckus.
How
How
are
are
you
you?
doing this morning? How are you doing this morning?
Good. Pretty good.
All right, nice. So we've been chatting about Awareness Month. We've been chatting with Dr. Bowler about it for quite some time. Can you tell me your role as a doctor in terms of eye care and eye care specialty?
Well,
Specialty.
uh, there people would call and say, my vision's blurred, or I can't understand why I'm not seeing um, as I used to, or you find that when I'm driving, things are um, the light is dazzled, especially at night. So things like that. I mean, I see eye emergencies. I see people who've had problems for some time. Now that the Sahara dust is up so heavy, we're having issues. So things like that. That's my role, and also education. Education is a major part of my role as a doctor.
And I mean, you're here this morning to share some education with us and some
Yes.
experiences from what I understand.
Yes.
So you had close family and friends that had to
Mm-hmm.
have cataract surgery.
Yes, yes, I did. So I have a family history of glaucoma,
Okay.
and my dad um, has been having some issues for quite some time. But we he's a really good driver. But we the family have noticed that he's had some little issues. But the thing is that we started becoming really concerned, and I actually thought it was his glaucoma that was causing the problem,
Mhm.
uh, and brought him in to be assessed by the team. And in fact, what had happened was it was a combination of his glaucoma and cataract.
Wow.
And so what happened with his cataract? My dad is short-sighted, and when the lens grows, as we're getting older, the lens grows like an onion, and
Mhm.
and in his case, it started to become more globular, more round,
Okay.
and when you are looking at something in the distance, your lens is thin and flat. When you're looking at something near, your lens becomes rounded. And so his lens was naturally becoming more rounded and stuck in that position. So his distance vision was actually decreasing. So he was becoming
Right.
more short-sighted or more myopic. And
Right.
that was something that we didn't even realize. But it was only happening in one eye. Yes, exactly. So in fact, what was happening was it was affecting his binocular vision, it was affecting his
Yeah.
judgment. And
Yeah.
so um, he had surgery, he had his first eye done, and he was sitting in the chair. I was sitting in the chair next to him, and he looked at me and he said, if I knew that it was going to be like this, I would have done it a long time ago. And I just
Hmm.
looked at him and I just smiled. And after this second, so just before his surgery, we had to actually stop him driving at night. So
Right.
by 5, 6 o'clock, he would be home. Well, let's just say that he's no longer home at 5, 6 o'clock. So
Well, he should be. We
yes.
have a curfew in effect.
Well, that is when he's working. When he's working during the week,
Right.
he has no issues now with his judgment.
Okay.
But and as a matter of fact, my dad didn't wear. He has been wearing glasses since he was, I think, 10 or 11,
Hmm.
and for the first time in his life, he has he's not wearing glasses for distance. So now we can see his pretty green eyes,
Nice.
and yeah,
But
and
Dr.
he's
Bartholomew,
really happy.
I want to know though, what are some of the things that can cause that to start happening?
Well, it's an aging change,
Okay.
but we do know that the UV light, UVB light especially affects the lens, and it hardens the lens and changes um, the ar- arrangement of the lens fibers, or the lens fibers are naturally parallel, and that makes them clear. But when light, when energy, or sometimes there are other things. If you're diabetic and your diabetes is out of control, and the lens swells because sugar, there's a sugar called sorbitol, goes into the lens and it draws water, and that actually disrupts the natural array of the natural arrangement of the lens fibers. So there are certain things that can affect it, but usually cataracts are an aging change, and it's of course we know that if you wear transitions or proper polarized sunglasses, it will actually help decrease the onset, but you know, it is a natural change.
A natural change that happens. But tell me more about the UVB light. What are some of the places that we see or we get UVB light from? Is that just sunlight, or is it?
It's mostly sunlight, but we know that well, blue light is another factor that can affect our eyesight, not just the cataracts, but it can also affect the retina. So we've actually, I mean, you hear, yes, they say it's a fad, but we do know that blue light can affect us, yes. But of course it's sunlight. So you know, people who are drivers, people who are construction workers, sanitation workers, those are the ones who you hear, who mechanics who work out in garages, but you know, it's out. Yes, it's under a garage, but it's out in the in the open. Yeah. People who ski and well, I mean that doesn't so much apply to us, but surfers, for instance, you know, anybody who has high exposure to sunlight, those are the ones.
Sunlight.
That's right. Direct and indirect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when people do cataract surgery, is it that you clean the lens? Is it that you replace the lens? Or how do you actually fix the problem?
Yeah, you have to remove the lens, has to be removed, because the lens, the other problem is that the lens can no longer change shape, but the lens itself gets cloudy. I saw a lady yesterday, and I had to call my two assistants in because her lens was if the lens is normally this long, her lens was about that length. Wow. And her vision had dropped significantly. So you have to actually remove the lens, and these days we remove the lens using something called phacoemulsification, which is when you use sound to break the lens up, to emulsify the lens, and so you just remove it through a tiny port, and then you inject. So we used to use these hard lenses, and we still do in some cases, these hard lenses that you have to insert through a large incision. But nowadays, the lens itself can be injected, can be folded and injected through a tiny port and replaced. So what you actually can do, because it's a refractive procedure, so what you actually can do is you can correct a patient's a refractive error. So in the case of my dad, he is no longer short-sighted. So he was -8 in one eye, and now he is able to see, to drive, and to read most things without glasses.
All right, and these new lenses that you put in, can they also get damaged, or can they get affected by the cataract that you would have had before?
No, what happens is they also have a built-in protection. So they actually have a filter that protects the retina. But what happens is that when your cataract, think of an onion and think of the skin of the onion, okay? When we are doing the cataract, we remove the front part of the skin of the onion. We remove the onion itself, but the back shell of the onion, that back skin, stays in place to hold the implant. Okay. But it's still your tissue. Yeah. So, you know, sometimes in some people it can become thickened, or it can get opaque. And in that case, what we do is we use the laser to just clean up. And that's a 5-10 minute procedure. But the cataract itself, because the lens is gone, can't grow back.
It can't grow back. So you replace it and give them a nice upgrade.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing this information this morning, Dr. Deborah Bartholomew, doctor at CVRS and Trinidad Eye Hospital. We're talking Cataract Awareness Month and, the life-changing effects that cataract surgery can have on you and the people around you. So thank you very much, Dr. Bartholomew, for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Enjoy the rest of your day and please stay safe.
You too.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more Inside in our morning show. Stay tuned.
Party hard, yeah. You know we drink.